This is a promise I made to them, and I make to you, and I make to every American. As President of the United States, I will not have kind words to say about authoritarian leaders around the world who espouse bigotry and hatred. Together, we will once again make the United States the leader in the world in the fight for democracy and human rights, in the fight to bring the world together around a sense of common humanity, around justice and dignity. And let me say a word to the young people of our country.
Yes. We're here, baby, we're here.
At a moment in history where we are seeing a huge explosion in technology and huge increases in worker productivity, we will no longer accept a situation in which the younger generation will have a lower standard of living than their parents. Not acceptable. I have 4 kids and 7 grandchildren. Downward mobility is not acceptable to me. We are going up, not down. And brothers and sisters, our fight is not only for economic justice, it is for political justice. Together, we are going to create a political system which is based on the democratic principle of one person, one vote, and end a corrupt system which allows billionaires to buy elections. And listen to this one, ending the power of super delegates at the Democratic National Convention. Unheard of, couldn't happen. Too radical. Well, brothers and sisters, a funny thing has happened over the last couple of years. Turns out that justice is not too radical an idea for the American people. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was one of the great presidents in American history, and you all know he came to office in the midst of incredibly difficult times of mass depression, 25% people unemployed, and then he had to lead the effort in World War II, taking on Nazism and fascism. In 1944, at the end of his presidency, he gave a State of the Union speech which was not widely reported. But what he said in that speech was profound and what motivates me here with you today. And what he said is that our Constitution is a great document. It guarantees political freedoms, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, freedom of the press, etc. Very, very important in a democratic society. But what he also said is that our Constitution does not guarantee economic rights. That the right to a decent job, the right to health care, the right to education is a human right. We say loudly and clearly that we are going to end your outrageous greed, which forces the American people to pay by far the highest prices in the world for the prescription drugs they need. You want to hear what another example of a dysfunctional healthcare system? Last year, 5 major drug companies made over $50 billion in profit. Meanwhile, 1 out of 5 Americans cannot afford to fill the prescriptions their doctors write. How insane is that? So today we say to the drug companies, we know how much money you have. We know you spent $130 million here in California a few years ago to defeat a ballot item. We know that. But we are going to take on your greed. We are going to significantly lower the cost of prescription drugs in this country. The U.S. Congressional Committee on Labor and Education reported out a bill that I believe will soon pass the House of Representatives to raise the federal minimum wage from a starvation wage of $7.25 to $15 an hour. Now, workers all over this country, they got enough to worry about with low wages, they got enough to worry about with the skyrocketing cost of health care and prescription drugs, but there's something else that many people are worried about, and that is what artificial intelligence and robotics is going to do in this economy. So we say to corporate America that the function of artificial intelligence and robotics must be to improve the standard of working people in this country, not throw them out on the streets. You know, and I know, that virtually every day Donald Trump is an embarrassment for us and for much of the world. It is not just that he is a pathological liar. It's not just that he is a racist and a sexist and a xenophobe. It's not just that he says something today and changes his mind tomorrow. It's not just that he told the American people one thing in the campaign and then does something completely different as president. But it is the fact that we today have an administration that very dangerously rejects science. So today we say to Trump and his allies in the fossil fuel industry, climate change is not a hoax. Climate change is a dangerous reality for this country and for the entire planet. And today we say to the fossil fuel industry, which lies and lies and lies, we are, whether you like it or not, fossil fuel industry, we are going to transform our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energy. We are going to pass comprehensive immigration reform and provide a path toward citizenship. We are going to provide legal status to the 1.8 million young people eligible for the DACA program. And we are going to develop a border policy for those who seek asylum that is humane and compassionate. The United States must never be about tearing little babies from the arms of their mothers. I don't come from a super wealthy family like Donald Trump, a family which gave him millions of dollars to build luxury skyscrapers, casinos, and country clubs. My brother and I did not go to some elite private school. We were educated in public schools. I did not come from a family which at the age of 3 gave me an allowance of $200,000 a year. As I recall, my allowance was 25 cents a week. Now, all of you will recall that just a few months ago, Donald Trump boasted, literally boasted, about shutting down the government and leaving some 800,000 federal employees without income to pay their bills. I guess that when you are a billionaire, you may not know that people struggle every month to pay the mortgage, to pay the health care bills, to turn the lights on, to put gas in the car. I guess if you are a billionaire like Trump, you don't know that half of America is living paycheck to paycheck. Well, I know that because my family lived paycheck to paycheck. I know where I come from, and that is something I will never forget.